Great, thank you. So welcome, everyone. This is, it's 5:30.
Recording in progress.
I'm hearing some feedback. Thank you, Director Anderson. Hustling around over there. I'm still here on the superintendent's computer and I'll try not to have that throw me. Perfect. There we go. So welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the SVUESD, September 9th. I'm Chris Murphy. I get to serve as chair, and I would first, are there any proposed amendments to the agenda? Just not aware of any, so we're good to go. So we can move right into our agenda. Item number 1 is the Pledge of Allegiance. So I would invite anyone who cares to stand and join us, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, folks. All right, agenda item 2 is public comments. So I see one member of the public with us.
Hi, Kathy Clark here from Shasbury Elementary School. Last meeting, I did put in a request to add something to the agenda, and I was just wanted to make it public. I was very disappointed to see that has not been added. The saying of the Pledge of Allegiance practice at Shasbury School, we are still not allowed to say it with our whole class. I was really hoping that could be added and come up for discussion again, because we still are not allowed to say it with our class. And it's just very disappointing that I did not see that on the agenda when I printed it out yesterday.
Then Painter, you will see if any other folks are present online to join us in public comment. Yep.
See any others.
Okay. Great. So that brings us to agenda item 3, the consent agenda, which was attached. We have minutes from August to be approved, and we also have resignation from Pleasant, from Powell. I did know, however, in the board packet, there was a, what is it? Up. There's a letter from Melanie Bruno, just noting she would be resuming teaching kindergarten at Powell Elementary School. I don't know that we necessarily need to act on that as part of the consent agenda, but it fits in with the nomination, resignation, retirement sort of thing. So I want to at least note it here. So first I'll ask, any proposed modifications to the minutes from August? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda as published, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Great. That brings us to the finance report, agenda item 4. We have the treasurer's report, which was not posted. So the hope is we can take action on that next month when we see that. We also have a proposed donation from the Bloomsack River Theater Company to Bennington Elementary School. It's in the amount of $909. Very good. I'm getting the sense from the letter that the Bloomsack River Company sent us that they're closing up shop. They're no longer doing that at all. They're sort of distributing their funds. They would like some of those funds to go to Bennington Elementary.
And some goods.
And some goods as well. Yep. And so I would entertain a motion to accept the donation from the Bloomsack River Theater Company.
Make that motion.
Thanks, Stephanie. Do we have a second? First and second. Great. Any discussion about accepting this gift from the Bloomsack River Theater Company? Hearing none. All those in favor of accepting the donation, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, and it passes. Jeff, as clerk, would you please write a letter? Thank you. Thank you, them. Our first number 5 is a report from Policies Committee. We don't have one. And our second number 5 is a report from Operations. So to that, we will turn it over to Director Anderson, please.
So can I just do a really quick introduction? Because we have a couple new members, Holly.
Sure.
Okay. So just for folks who may have joined us, this is part of a coordinated effort with myself and the directors. We came to see you in August, talked about staffing and where you stand as a district moving into the new school year. Holly's going to be joining me for the next couple of weeks. We'll be in front of boards, giving you updates on buildings that would fall under your school district. Next month, we're going to talk about grants. And then in November, we'll be visiting student services. All of this is in preparation. Hopefully, we're giving you information that will help you with your work in December and January as we work on the budget. So Holly's been here great. I've seen her slideshow. It's fantastic. She is going to be skipping some slides. The chair has asked her to please focus on elementary schools under this district. So Holly, thank you very much for coming in.
No, thank you very much. Let me switch over and then I'll get started. Zoom. Okay. I'm doing something wrong. Just like- Success. So friends, thank you so much. I'm really excited to give you an overview on what we've been doing in the elementary schools over the recent past. This presentation is for the whole district, so I'm gonna kind of go quickly by some of the slides. I also wanted to let you know, I invited the director of the elementary district, Todd Clary, to come and be present if you have any questions or concerns. None of this would be possible without him and his team, so I just want to make sure you guys know what an important asset he is to the district. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Okay, so these are some of the funds that we received as a district for some of the construction projects in the recent past. The ARP ESSER funds were from the federal government as part of COVID recovery. IAQ, same thing, but it came through in a different way. The SVSU applied for the energy prize through the Department of Energy. We got a check for $100,000 and then a subsequent check for $50,000. We got 1.6 million through the EPA for the electric school buses in Arlington, local funds, share grants through the state for both of our biomasses, and then incentive money. Anytime we do energy efficiency, we work closely with Efficiency Vermont and they help subsidize that. So this is our building inventory. We have a little over 1 million square feet. Our oldest building is Woodford, 1809 was its first operating year. And the newest building is in 2004. And we have every flavor of construction and deferred maintenance and everything in between in the other buildings. So we have Arlington, SVUESD, and so we'll just go. Fisher. These are your guys. So in the elementary district with the ARP ESSER funds, we worked with a design team for the HVAC upgrade projects to make sure we were meeting industry standards and we were addressing some of the deficiencies in the existing HVAC system, as well as adding what was needed. We also took up lots of old carpet, flooring. We installed 2 different playgrounds, one on each side of the building, and we replaced the roof on both the 2-story section and then the section that was adjacent to the gym this summer. It was activated. So we took care of that. Molly Stark, same thing. We did HVAC improvements for indoor air quality, flooring. We replaced the kindergarten roof, which hadn't started leaking, but it had lived its useful life and it was on the verge of failing. And they also got 1 playground installed. Monument, same thing. We covered hazardous flooring. We upgraded the HVAC system. Monument was in pretty good shape comparatively. There we go. Pownell, same thing. We went through and upgraded the HVAC. We renovated some bathrooms. Did a great deal of painting and the stair tread upgrades are in progress. But you can tell we got a new sign for Pownell, and that's just really exciting for me. Shaftesbury, we painted the outside. We addressed a lot of the rooftop units as part of the HVAC system. Todd worked heavily on the sewer pump repairs. And we painted the outside of the building. We replaced all the exterior lighting, so there's more lumens, and replaced flooring. Woodford, we put in a whole ventilation system. It had heating and cooling, but no ventilation before that. We put a whole new roof on and repaired a corner of the building that had rotted away and put in a new playground. And then, so just as an overall, in addition to the master planning work we've done internally and the way that the state is looking at funding construction of K through 12 facilities moving forward. These are some of the replacement values for our buildings. The average annual need moving forward over the next, so this is the annual need yearly to keep our buildings the way they are. And then basically this is what we're going to spend over the next 10 years to keep all our buildings in the condition they are.
Just for Richard, can you go back and just get the total amount, total expenditure of,
Hi, Richard.
sorry, the average annual need, this is not just cleaning and things like this. This is replacing doors that have outlived their life, windows that need to be replaced, things like that. So it's, the figure on there is $2,280,000.
Correct.
And then an expenditure for total, that's every school. That's not just schools in the ESD, but the total expenditure over 10 years, you estimated about 22,802,000.
Yeah, that's true. And that's keeping things status quo and up to date and all our systems moving. And with that, we know that like Pownell's new elevator, the elevator has lived its useful life. I just put in a couple of different things that we know are coming as immediate needs. So yeah. We can go through those if you'd like.
Could you highlight just a couple of those elementary schools that these folks?
Certainly. So Benella, the next roof replacement, we've got to replace the gym and we've got to replace the roof in the connecting section between the 2-story and the gym during that hallway. That roof needs to get done. The castle, the building behind Molly Stark that was built by the facilities department, requires a gut renovation, if not something else entirely. It has structural issues, it has insulation issues, roofing issues, all of the issues it has, so that's good. Monument, we still have yet to put a new playground there. We still have pea gravel and not wood chips. And Shaftesbury, we need to work on the sprinkler system. And in the library, it's much like Pownell where the walls don't go up to the underside of the deck. So it's hard to teach when people are always walking around in that space. So that's on the list as well. And as you know, the state is moving forward with Act 72, 73. And as part of that and how they're figuring out how we're gonna pay for construction and facilities moving forward, they've developed construction advisory committee, and which I'm happily going to serve on. So hopefully we'll get some more intel on what they're thinking and what the grand scheme looks like going forward.
Director Anderson, could you talk to us a little bit more, please, about the sprinkler system install at Shaftesbury?
Sure. There are exterior exits. There are doors to the exterior of the classrooms. However, the type of construction it is, really does require a sprinkler system. So that's something that we looked at as part of the Art Besser funds, and it just didn't rise to the top of the needs. Most of the need was indoor air quality.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Holly?
Got one, the 22.8 million projected over 10 years, is that in today's money and accounting for inflation in there?
Excellent question. The state anticipated,
All that good stuff.
yeah, the state anticipated inflation at 4.32. Or
So
right
it's
around
in
there.
there.
It's in,
One last, the replacement value for the buildings, is that the state number?
That's the state number.
That's probably not a true number.
The, in my mind's eye, they're using like 250 as a renovation number. The numbers they're using for new construction, in today's market would be inadequate, but the surveys were done 4 or 5 years ago. There.
But they all looked a little low to me.
Yeah.
Compared to what, like, what's that presented last year?
Yeah.
Like $100 million. And that's a smaller building than RMAU. So I was just surprised where those numbers came from. So yeah, it's not accurate numbers.
Yeah, they are provided in the state reports that they have given us. Did I answer your question, Jeff?
That answers my question.
Good deal.
Holly, for the paving that is being done or hopes to be done at Woodford, is that along the side in the front or is that the parking area?
So we've been looking at that. One of the issues, as you know, is the right of ways in the state. The first phase of the paving at Woodford, the state took care of. We met with them. We reviewed it. They have taken care of that in this year's local budget. We have about 40 grand to look at circulation paving and also stormwater mitigation, because there's so much water coming down from the mountain, right? And so the stormwater infrastructure is undersized and or non-existent. And then we need to figure out how to capture stormwater before it gets to the parking. So my intent this year is to work on a design and get estimates on what the design will cost, so that we can put it in next year's budget to do a holistic approach.
And you're coordinating with the town?
No, I've put out feelers for an engineering firm to get pricing for design services.
If it's all right, maybe we could chat for a few minutes later on.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Well said, Superintendent Payne.
All set.
Great.
Holly, thank you very much.
Thanks, Director.
Thank you.
And this has been shared with everybody, correct? I saw some comments from folks that, so if you want to look at the numbers more closely, that's what available.
Is this shared with the public or teachers or our website?
So this presentation is on the warning for this meeting. I'm happy to share it. None of it's confidential.
No, it's through if you go to the SVSU website under current board documents. It's right there. It's part of the packet for tonight. And Director Anderson, thanks for putting the time in to get this to us ahead of time. It's helpful just for us to be able to come prepared to know what we're going to hear about. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And thank you, Todd, for coming. Mr. Clark, thank you so much.
You done?
Hear your name, but never see you.
Yeah. That brings us to number 6, which is the ESD Best Educational Use of Facilities Update. Superintendent Payne, do you have any updates for us, or do we know when the subcommittee will be meeting again?
Holly and I have talked about it. The only thing I can report is that I have read the report that was handed over to the committee a year ago. And so just some direction from the board as far as moving forward and getting folks together. I'm happy to do that.
So we had, again, this was under the previous superintendent's tenure, but there was a committee that was put together. I recall that at least Jeff was a rep from this board. Glenn was as well. The notion, there were other stakeholders though. It wasn't just members of the board. Glenn or Jeff, can either of you speak to who was on that board or what sort of groups they represented, those various stakeholders who were on that subcommittee?
And a couple administrators.
Community member.
Yeah.
All I can tell us.
Parents.
We know you were there.
No, so there were a few parents from different schools, community members, a couple board members, and me and Jim.
So I think what we'd like to see is, I don't want that, we spent a lot of money on the report. Clearly, there's a need for us to optimize our use of the building. So if somebody who has the authority to order other people to do things can pull together a meeting, a meeting of that subcommittee. That
So
would be-
Holly and I can revisit the list, send out invitations and set a date for folks to.
Happy to.
That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you. All right, the SVSU report is agenda item 7. Which one of our SVSU reps would like to tell us what's going on with that one, please?
So we have had our second board retreat. And as part of it, we're talking about the roles and goals for our SU as well as our superintendent. And we should be set, we need to be set by policy with the goals by September 30th. And I hope we're gonna make it.
Good summation.
That's,
Good.
yeah.
Great. Anything else to add, Jeff or Jeff or Glenn?
Great meal.
It's been interesting work. I feel everybody's been very forthcoming about, you know, the ways that the board functions, the things we're getting done, the things we can use, getting better at.
Mhm.
It's a good experience all over.
And Mr. Payne announced that they were going to look for interim assistant superintendent.
Great.
Big one there.
And the other piece of this about the retreat is that it isn't limited to just the SVSU board. Every board has the option of having a retreat
Mhm.
each year.
Is the VSBA organizing a retreat? Who is organizing the
Um,
ESU retreat?
Somehow we have contracted with a
Tracy, right?
yeah.
I think it's still VSBA.
Yeah.
It's our employer.
To facilitate.
Great.
She's done a lovely job.
Okay, thank you. Oh, that brings us to the superintendent's report. Superintendent Payne.
So I'll do this in two parts. One, I'm going to try to make sure I provide, even if it's a short update on Act 73 and what's going on. Of course, educational reform law that's passed and they're working through at the state level now. I just want to tell folks that I have been meeting regularly with regional superintendents, so that's southwest corner of the state. I had another conversation with Superintendent Lowe, who is superintendent of BRSU this week. I am slated to travel to Killington on Thursday. There'll be a statewide meeting of superintendents. We got the agenda this morning. It is almost entirely dedicated to Act 73 and how it may impact our lives. So I look forward to taking copious notes and bringing that back for the board. And then I also was invited to attend a meeting of the Rural School Community Alliance. Some of you may be aware of this group. They've been pretty active in the latest legislative cycle, lobbying and advocating in the run up to Act 73. They have a meeting next Friday, the 19th. It'll be a Zoom. I want to be really clear with all the boards, and I'll say this in front of all the boards. I am going as an audience member. They have asked some superintendents or some school districts and some supervisory unions for support. I'm going to go sit. I'm going to come back to the board. I'm going to ask. I think it's a board's prerogative to say, yes, we would like to sign on to this, or yes, we'd like to know more about this, but this is my first meeting with them on the 19th. So I will bring that back to the group as well and say, hey, these are what these folks see as important as they move through the educational reform piece. So I'll stop there. I have school safety as my next piece. This is in follow-up to our meeting that we previously had. I've invited two folks to join us this evening. One is Vic Milani, who is here with us through Zoom. He is safety coordinator for the school district, and also Beth Lorge, who is principal at Pownell. So to the chair, I can have Vic talk in general terms, or your prerogative if you want to move us into executive session. I know there was some more fine detail that the board was asking for some follow-up.
Yeah, so I think what I'd like to do is we'll have you pause in your superintendent's report for now. I'll give a brief chair support. We'll do our FYI, then we'll move into our final piece, executive session, at which point we can invite those folks in. So the chair's report, I will keep it brief. The one thing I will say that directly bumps up against what we had chatted about last week, or last month rather, we were talking about structuring our agenda in such a way that they match in terms of form with all the other boards' agenda. And one of the things we had discussed was having a standing executive session on our agenda, just like we have a standing SVSU report, operations report, and so on. For those of you who, I think we all received the Vermont School Board Association's emails. I would recommend we all read it. It just so happens the latest one talks specifically about that, saying that with the new statutes that was passed, we shouldn't be doing, we shouldn't be having executive session as a standing agenda item. So we won't do that. But it's, always good information in those emails. It's rare that it is pertinent to something we had just discussed. That's certainly was the case. So moving on to agenda item 10, there, the FYI, the budget status reports was there. We have, the Melanie Bruno thing that I was mentioning in the consent agenda is right there at the FYI. So having exhausted the agenda, except for the executive sessions, I would entertain a motion to enter into executive session as per 1 Vermont statutes annotated section 313(7), which allows us to discuss the academic records or suspensions or discipline of students. And also for 1 USA section 313(10), which allows us to discuss security or emergency response measures, the disclosure of which could jeopardize public safety. And I would ask that we invite our superintendents and Mr. Milani and Principal Lorge and Dr. Milani, pardon me, and Principal Lorge in as well. So, anyone want to make that motion, please? Ms. Glenn, I saw Cindy.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
Where on this session are we gonna talk about the Pledge of Allegiance?
We're not. There would be nothing in executive session that would allow us to discuss that. There's nothing in the executive session law that would allow us to discuss the Pledge of Allegiance in executive session. It would need to be open session.
Discuss it in public?
I don't know that we have anything.
Is it another person, another teacher?
We had the same teacher that we've had before.
Yes,
come in.
and we didn't deal with it then, and we're not dealing with it now.
So what happened, for those of you who get your email and read your email, I had addressed an email to each of us individually explaining why why I was not inclined to bring this back onto our agenda. The fact is, we had made a decision. It's a decision that hopefully will suit the most people, understanding we're not going to find a solution that will make everybody happy. Case in point, last month we had 2 teachers saying they wanted the pledge at a certain time, and 4 parents call who said, no, it shouldn't be given at that exact same time. So we will not find a solution that makes everybody happy. And we as a board need to be comfortable with that fact while still addressing the desires of the most.
But we as a board should have discussed it, not just you.
So we as a board have discussed this more than any other topic at any point in my almost 10 years of serving as a board. So we certainly have. And I would say, Cindy, not for nothing, like you have seconded one of the 2 motions, and you voted for both of the motions that have brought us to this point. So we have all, as board members, supported the decision that was made, first made in December, then fine-tuned in April.
Not all.
And
I wasn't.
you weren't, I take it.
I wasn't on the board, but I was here for the meeting and with numerous other people. And I'm still very, well, you know how I feel about it. So anyways, I think that in that meeting, when all of us came, you said if there was an issue with it, we would revisit it. I don't think you're revisiting that. I think you're just passing it. I think you need to get the teachers together and discuss it. There's a lot of animosity going on. I hear it. Let me tell you, they're ringing my phone off the hook.
So this is what I would say. What we're doing right now is talking openly about a thing that was not posted on our agenda. So we should not be talking about it.
Sorry.
So can we bring the proposed policy next meeting and then talk what we voted on and see if there's any?
It's
I-
a policy.
It's a recommendation.
It's a directive from this board, and I don't know. First of all, nothing's changed since last month. Nothing's changed since the month before that, or the month before. Nothing has changed, except we have a teacher who's come a number of times, sometimes here as a union rep, sometimes as an individual, sometimes as an employee, saying she would like the Pledge of Allegiance on the agenda. We as a board, again, have spent hours talking about this.
I think she said she would like to say it with her class.
Great. And this board has made a decision that that's, if she can, but it's before classes begin. That was the last adjustment we made. It was the last adjustment we made. And so that's that directive that everyone on this board voted for, everyone who was here, I will say, because I don't recall, maybe there were some people absent. Everyone who was here voted in favor of that. And it's to say, the pledge is going to be said every day in school before classes start, inside.
What's
the other-
the issue?
I
Why?
have no idea. I have no idea,
I think-
except
I think
the teacher we had come here tonight wants to say it with her class after classes begin. And that's not what this board voted for.
But what happens is I probably should have said. on
Well,
the-
what else, but just, I think I can guess where you're gonna go, and then this has to be the last, because we are discussing a thing that was not
Wasn't
warned and we
like-
should not be talking about. I
Yeah.
would say this, as with any directive that comes from the board, if a staff member is not abiding by that directive, there is a chain of command to include the superintendent that's the chain of command that should be addressing such things. It should not be coming to this board. If there are teachers who have difficulties or disagreements with their colleagues or their building principals, this is not the arena for that.
Yeah, you have a very clear policy and
Not a policy.
Corrective.
you have a very clear policy in 1025 that says if you have a complaint
Oh, yeah.
about personnel.
Yeah.
There's a written, there's chain of command. I would caution using public comment to air your concerns about a decision made in a building. Regardless if you're a public citizen or employee, you're still an employee. So policy 1025, there's a very, as the chair has said, there's a very clear written chain of command of how you would raise that concern. And when public comment is not listed in there.
So
Maybe we should put it on the agenda for next month.
to what end? And I wonder to what end?
I am confused about it.
Okay, so
I think what we should do is, I think everybody goes back and read the directive. And follow up with Chris, and if you're confused, follow up with Chris, and if we need to put it on, we can. To consider. putting
Sure.
it on.
I mean, what I sent the email. 2 people responded back to me. I engaged with a conversation with those 2 board members. I would encourage people to go back and read the minutes and go to YouTube and watch those 2 meetings of the SVUESD that are on the Catamounts television YouTube page. Just go to YouTube and type SVUESD. They will come up. Watch them. Listen to the conversation, listen to the motions that were passed, pay attention to how you voted during those motions. And then if people really want to talk about it more in open session, let me know. And maybe we will. I'm not saying maybe we will.
Chris, that date was 10/25 when that meeting.
No, it was the December meeting and the April meeting,
Okay, December and January.
just December and
In December, and
Okay, thank you.
because we had initial, directive in December. And then we said we would revisit it, and then we revisited it back in April.
Yes.
So after that, we said a second vote in April, so all of us were sitting on that board for that April vote.
And one last thing, truly, more than any other topic ever, we've discussed this pledge. Not special education services, not unhoused families, not students who go hungry, not our crumbling infrastructure, but the pledge. And we've had a solution, and just because it doesn't make everyone happy, doesn't mean this board needs to get mired down in that. We have other responsibilities. We have 1,000+ students we need to be looking out for, and it involves far more than this one thing that we have already made a decision on that passed unanimously at this board. So, any further discussion about going into executive session? Great, thank you. All those in favor of moving into executive session as described with the invitees, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any
Recording
opposed?
stopped.
Any abstentions? Great. We will move into executive session.
Give me 1 second.
Thank you,
The
Superintendent.
recording is paused, but I need to bump Richard out of the.
Bump Richard out.
I apologize for the pump.
Exit
Recording in
executive session,
progress.
please.
I'll make a motion to exit executive
We'll
session.
call Jeff first, 1 second. Any discussion about exiting executive session? Hearing none. All those in favor of exiting executive session, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstention carried, so we're out of that. I see Richard there. So having exhausted our agenda, I would entertain a motion to adjourn, please. Thanks, Stephanie. No, sorry. Thanks, Glenn. We have a first and a second to adjourn. Any discussion about adjourning?
No.
Hearing none. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone. Ready?
Recording stopped.
Enjoy the sunshine, everybody.